Yiparach, Yiparach, Vishtabach, Viparit Ramam, Vitnase, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shmei de Kudisha, Brichu, Lelam in Kol Berchata, Vashirata, Tushbechata, Venechemata, Damiran Be'amma Vimru. We take a moment to ask for God's blessings upon those who are observing Shiva or Shaloshim, the immediate 7 or 30 days of mourning. If you are at home watching online or here and you wish to voluntarily stand, we will then ask for God's blessings upon you during your time of grief. May God console you among all who are grieving in Zion and Jerusalem. And now we stand together as a community, united in our love for Baruch Hu 146. Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma poteach she'arim uvidvuna mishaneh itim umachalif et hazmanim umisader et hakochavim b'mishmeratehem barakia kirtzono b'rei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or ma'avir yom u'mevi layla u'mavdil ben yom uvein layla Adonai Tzvaot Shemo. Yachai v'kayam tamid imloch alenu le'olam ba'ed. Baruch ata Adonai hama'ariv aravim. 152. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai continue with the Ahavta 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha Bishinantam Levanecha V'dibarta Bam Beshivtecha B'veitecha Uvelechtecha Vaderech Uvshochbecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam Vehayu letotafot beinenecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha Man tizkeru vasitem ekol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim leloechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim V'hiyot lachem Elohim Ani Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Let's all join together in the English on 159. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. On the opposite side of the page. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nomra tehilot osef ele, nomra tehil osef Leave top of 161 together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, to walk with good companions, to live hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Haporeh sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim. 162. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Choir's doing good tonight. Keep it up. Let's all stand now for the Amidah, 164 in your Siddurim. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Adonai sevatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Mimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua V'nemanat Halachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, Ukdoshim B'chol Yom Yahalelucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please have a seat. Let's continue with our prayer for this day of Shabbat, which we will read together on the top of 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue together in the middle of page 175. This English translation, thematically at least, of Ritzeh, one of the oldest prayers in all of Jewish liturgy. Let's join together. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers, and there may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch Atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha bir'ah na'avod. Before silent prayer, just wanted to share a little midrash with you. We have behind me on the windows, there are actually 4 up top, which you can't see from sitting down, the 12 tribes of Israel, all of the names, and a depiction of something about the tribe itself, whether it's in the form of a ram or a snake, or God's got what looks to be like a Cirque du Soleil tent. And the 12 tribes are the 12 tribes of Israel, or Jacob, depending on which part of the Torah you're looking at. This week's parsha is called Vayechi. And like all things Jewish, it's the Torah portion when it's called "and he lived," but it contains the story of the death of not only Jacob or Israel, but also the death of Joseph. And so like Chaye Sarah at the beginning of Genesis, which tells the story of the death of Sarah, it's called the life of Sarah. So this is called And He Lived. And the most special scene in all of Genesis takes place because our ancestors, our namesakes, the 12 tribes of Israel, are each 10 sons and 2 grandchildren of Ephraim and Manasseh, given blessings. Jacob gathers them all around his bed. The Torah describes him as being very old and very weak, and he's about to die. It's very clear. He's what we would call today actively dying. And he blesses each individual kid. Now, you all know that there's an argument or a dispute among all synagogues. Some people, after they sing the Shema, will whisper, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, which is the line after. We don't. We sing Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, just like we sing the Shema. So the question is, why do we whisper it versus sing it? And we are kind of doing it the wrong way, depending on who you ask. The reason why it's whispered is the Midrash teaches that as Israel is about to die, he's very nervous, like any good Jewish parent would be, that his kids are going to not continue the faith. They're not going to continue to practice Judaism. They're not going to continue to live as Jacob, as Isaac, and as Abraham had covenanted themselves to live. And so instead of saying, Dad, don't worry, they say Torah. They say, Shema Yisrael, listen, Israel. Not us, Israel, but you, Israel, Jacob, listen. Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Adonai is our God. Adonai is one. It's their way of saying, Dad, we got this. We understand that we believe in God. We understand that we are the children of Israel. We understand, we get it, and we will carry on the faith. We will carry on the tradition. This is 3,200 and something years ago. And the rabbis teach the reason why we whisper that second line is because Jacob can barely speak. So they say, Dad, Shema Yisrael, and he's barely able to speak because he's about to die. It's his last words, which is also where the tradition of saying the Shema before we die comes from. And he says, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Because he whispered those words, we too, in many congregations, not ours, will whisper the second line, the line after the Shema. Now the funny thing is that's not in the Torah. Baruch Shem Kevod is not in the Torah portion. Neither is the Shema in this week's Parsha. So what do the rabbis do? They take Deuteronomy chapter 6, they cut and paste, as we would say, into this Parsha, and they create this beautiful midrash that the Jewish people will continue Vayechi to live as Jacob did in order to bless his sons, and we are here because the sons fulfilled that commitment to worship one God, to honor their father by saying, listen, Israel, we got this. And we too have a decision, a choice every single day to say the same. Shema Yisrael, Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. It's the very reason that we are sitting here today. So with that in mind, please take some time for silent meditation and perhaps think one way or another, or in any way that you're comfortable, if you wish, about how it is that you sustain your Jewish soul. Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai and Baruch et Amo Yisrael v'Shalom. We praise you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with shalom, with peace. Let's take a moment now to think of friends and family who are in need of our prayers for healing on this Shabbat. We pray that they will receive healing of mind, healing of body, healing of spirit. And we think of those who are in need of physical healing. We think of those who are struggling with mental health issues, with depression, with addiction, with recovery. And we think of all of our friends and family who could just use the lift of our words and our hearts. Mishaberach on 371. In a moment, I'll call on you for names. And if you're online, get ready to type in the name of a loved one also in the comment section. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Zerah v'Korach v'Leah v'Yivarech v'Yirapeh et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. As a congregation, we are thinking on the Shabbat of Menachem Rachmiel ben Betzalel, Jason Byers, Stephen Black, and Ronald Black, Holly Connor, Robert Covino, Rhonda George, Alan Goldman, David Grady, Melissa Joy, Jeffrey Klein, Elisa Lopez, Pam Meyer, Arthur Moltz, Cynthia Poor, Lewis and Robin Rosenblum, Chaya Miriam Bat-Yeda Rochel, Eileen Schwartz, Michael Senecal, Alan Sherman, Frank Simon, Larry Spiro, Dawn Steckler, Shira Chasha Bat Auden Sterna, Avram Kobe Ben Margalit Vered, Brian Weinberger, Adela Weinstein. If there's anyone who would like to share out loud the name of a loved one, please feel free to do so. And we'll take them into our hearts along with those whose names have been added online. May the blessed Holy One, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yimelei Rachamim Alehem, Lachlimam Rafotam Leachziakam Veishlach Alehem Mehera Refuah Shlema Mina Shemayim, Refuah Nefesh, Refuah Takuf, Hashtaba Galav Zman Kariv, and no more. Amen. May God fill with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say amen. And let's continue with a prayer for our country and its leaders, page 376 in the middle bottom of the page. Please, let's join together. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. To give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. Shalu, shalom, Yerushalayim, yishalu, avayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Let's join together. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. Give me one moment to just do a little rearranging of some furniture on the bima before I invite our, actually, Ethan, why don't you come on up? And then I can introduce you and everyone can look at you while I'm introducing you. And there we go. The furniture has been rearranged. Do you need some water? You sure? Yeah. Just in case, I'll get you one. You can say no, I'll give it to you. Have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, this is This is Ethan Hott, and you're probably, maybe those of you who opened up the email that I sent a few months ago with a really amazing video of Ethan, who had been, well, let me introduce him in a second. You'll maybe jar your memory as to why Ethan was in that video that I sent you with a mazel tov. I don't remember when it was, but it was a few months ago. And so now let's put it into some context. Okay. This is Ethan Hott. We kvel for all of our kids who grow up at Congregation Beth Israel because they're good kids. We have certain things in place here, I think, that has created a culture where young families like Ethan's, still are young, choose to join here. And oftentimes that's because the kids start at the Channon preschool, and then everyone falls in love with each other, and they hang out and stay. And we always hope to cultivate relationships and teach as much as we can, with the limited time that we have, teach them something about what it means to be a Jew in this world. So Ethan, if you remember from the video, was selected as a Blue Square Jewish Athlete Ambassador. That's a mouthful. Blue Square are those blue squares that people wear to fight anti-Semitism. And he was one of only 6 in the entire country who play sports in college who were asked to participate in this project. Now, the Blue Square Athlete Program is part of the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism, which you may know was founded by Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. Ethan and his fellow 5 other students, ambassadors are part of that first cohort in the country, student leaders who unify different communities and different college campuses in all parts of the country. There's a kid from NYU, Columbia, California. There was one college I didn't recognize the name, like Cornell, Stanford.
NYU.
Let me make sure this is working. No. You're the only one we care about right now. Yeah, I said Columbia, I think. A basketball player from Columbia. So they all represent their communities and have taken on different leadership with Jewish student life on their campuses. Ethan is a senior at Stanford University. That was a spoiler alert, Stanford University. He is a Division I outfielder for the Stanford baseball team. And most importantly to us, he's the son of our very longtime and dedicated members, Tracy and Dr. Jonathan Hott. Tracy was a member of our board of directors. All 3 of their kids, including Zachary, who was part of one of the all-time great Shannon preschool classes, because not only was Zachary hot in the class, but Gabrielle Kahn was in the class too. So Tracy and Jonathan and I have spent many a birthday party with little ones who grew up at Shannon Preschool, and also you are the youngest kid, and so therefore you have an older sister also named Sydney, who teaches history at PCDS at Phoenix Country Day School. So they are all amazing. But along with his siblings, Ethan not only went through Shannon Preschool, but also our religious school program, and Rabbi Marty Scharf officiated at his bar mitzvah. And I got to tell you, Marty, how excited he was when I said, "Oh, Marty comes every Friday." So, the connections, they keep on coming. So, without going much further, because I want to leave some room for Ethan to talk, I'm going to do a little bit like what Rabbi Mason Barkin did last month with Joey Varco, and just throw out some questions so that Ethan can tell us a little bit more about what he's doing. He's, as you're going to find out, an amazing young man, and he happens to, play a little baseball, and he happens to be incredibly articulate. So let's hear from him. Ethan, tell everyone who you are, other than what I just gave a little bit of background. A little bit more about where you went to high school and your baseball career and your student life and that kind of thing. A little biographical details.
Well, hi everyone. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Rabbi Khan pretty much covered it. But
you got to hold that really close.
Oh, really close.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the rabbi said, I went to Shannon Preschool. First ever school I went to. And then I grew up locally. We live 5 minutes from here, so I did the Cherokee, Cocopah, Chaparral circuit all the way through. And yeah, it was unbelievable. We would come for high holidays, and Judaism was just always such an important thing in my life that was instilled in me at such a young age, and thanks to the synagogue, thanks to my parents, and thanks to my siblings. And I'm just so fortunate to be here, and I'm glad the timing worked out.
When did you start when did you know, like, baseball is going to be a thing for me? As opposed to just, I'm going to play baseball and be on a team or a league. Like, when did you really know that it was serious?
So I'm an athletic guy. I played a lot of sports growing up. Baseball was always kind of the sport I gravitated towards. I was always just pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And, but I love playing every sport. My dad played soccer growing up. There's really no baseball in my family. I'm the first baseball player. But I was just pretty good at it, and I liked it. And I liked that more so than actually, hitting home runs and making diving plays. The relationships I formulated with my teammates was something. When people ask what I enjoy about playing baseball, even today, it's not, those things are cool. Robbing a home run and or making a diving play. Those are fun, but it's the long bus rides with my teammates, and it's when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, just hanging out in a hotel room at an away tournament and just kind of goofing off with my buddies, and those are still my best friends to this day. And that's why I love baseball, more so than actually playing the game, because it is fun. It's a hard sport. If there's any baseball fans out there, it's a slow sport. But yeah, I love it.
So you've been obviously pretty successful, and tell us a little bit about how you decided, because you're the only Jewish guy on Stanford's baseball team. Tell us a little bit how you made the decision to go to Stanford and how that's been for you, being the now in your fourth year, the only Jewish kid on the team.
Yeah, so people are always surprised. For me, I guess it was just normal, but I've been the only Jewish baseball player on any team that I've ever played for. And people are surprised to hear that. But I guess it's just normal for me. I don't know. I remember even as early on as like the Little League, and club ball when I was 10, 11, 12, I was always the only Jewish kid. All my buddies, it was funny, it's a vivid memory in my head, they came to my bar mitzvah and they're putting on the kippah, and they're like, what on earth? This is like, it's just a completely foreign territory for them. High school, I was the only Jewish kid on my team, and in college, I'm the only Jewish kid on my team. And it's, like I said, it's just, I guess it's an interesting thing, but it's also just been the norm for me. And then, to answer the second part of your question, how I kind of arrived at Stanford, I was always a high academic kid. It was, my parents made it very clear to me at a young age that academics were the most important, outside of family, were the most important thing in those trump sports, is doing well and excelling in the classroom. And because one day sports will be done, but you need the education to fall back on. So I actually had a close family friend, my mom's college roommate's son, Eric Brodkowitz, who was a pitcher at Yale and played for Team Israel. And he's probably 8 or 9 years older than me, I think. And I saw him when I was younger. He was so proudly Jewish and was excelling in the classroom. He went to such an unbelievable university and was playing baseball at the highest level in college, and had some professional opportunities afterwards. And I was like, I want to do that. I feel like there's nothing cooler than being able to represent such an amazing university and also just balling out on the field, right? Because some people can do one or the other, but very few can do both at a really high level. And I knew that I had that in me. So you have to make sacrifices, spend some, weekends at home, in high school and, studying, taking a lot of tough classes and whatnot. But I knew that it was all going to be worth it and come to fruition.
And that was the only school that you...
That was Stanford. So I committed to Stanford the summer after my freshman year of high school. So I knew where I was going, which is, obviously different than most kids who, are in their senior year and applying to a lot of schools. But I knew I was going there the entire time. And yeah, I only applied to Stanford, which was still tough. I still had to get into the school. I still had to get in, so I had to apply. I had to, take the SAT and take really, really tough classes, and it was daunting. I remember early on, I was like, wow, this is going to be tough. But I have an unbelievable support system, and people close to me really helped me, and I knew that I was doing the right thing.
So I want to back up a little bit. So your older brother, older sister become bar bat mitzvah, and with Rabbi Keller officiating, and Rabbi Sharf officiates at your bar mitzvah. And then, like with most kids, 7th, 8th grade, there's like a lull. Some kids go on, they become madrichim, or they go through confirmation, but a lot of kids, especially kids who are very committed at your level especially, to a sport or to dance or music or whatever, there's a lull, and they kind of go off radar for a little while. So I want you to tell us a little bit, and a lot of them go off radar even all the way through college and graduate school. They still go to Seders, they still come to holidays, they go to Hillel, but it's not the same as when they were little. But you've got this all loaded. You go to Jewish preschool, you're at a synagogue, you're anchored here. Tell me a little bit about, and we're going to skip now, fast forward, to October 7th, and more importantly, to October 8th. And walk us through what was different, what happened, what we spent about 3 hours together this week over 2 days. This was last minute to do this, otherwise we would have advertised it, but you're very lucky that you're here. And what's really amazing is a lot of people that were on the board with you, Tracy, just happen to be here tonight. Not that they're not here normally, but there is more than normal from your cohort on the board. So that's just sort of a thing for the cosmos to figure out. Tell us a little bit about your experience October 7th, October 8th, and in the following weeks as the only Jewish kid on your team and at Stanford in particular.
Yeah. So you kind of hit on it. After my bar mitzvah, it wasn't an active decision to stop observing. It was just kind of a natural kind of life process. I was bar mitzvahed, and that was obviously took up so much time at that age. And then I was a competitive baseball player, and I was going into high school, or I guess at that time, it'd be the end of middle school and then high school. And that it just took so much time. And we would still observe the high holidays, and it was always, the foundation was set. So the Judaism didn't go anywhere necessarily, but I just had other things that I needed to do if I wanted to play baseball at the level and go to the school that I wanted to go to. So, like you said, Rabbi Kahn, there was a bit of just kind of a nothing for a period of time, and then I got to college, and that was kind of when I came back to Judaism a little bit. The fall of my sophomore year, October 7th happened, and it just the influx of anti-Semitism and Jew hatred just it hit like a truck, and it was something that threw me for a loop, and I was so caught off guard by it, and I was so saddened and frustrated by it. And I knew, and it didn't sit well with me, obviously. And I felt like it was only right that I did something about that, because it was not okay, you know. Because in my life, I grew up in Paradise Valley, five minutes from here. Every Jewish person that I knew in my life was unbelievable, successful, hardworking, intelligent, and that was Judaism to me. It was instilling the right values and morals and ethics. And I'm like, how could somebody hate me? People hated me. For the first time, I felt like a hatred towards me. And I'm like, what? I didn't do anything. I'm going to class. I'm trying to be the best version of myself. And they hated me. And they hated every Jewish student. And they knew nothing about us. And that was just, I told Rabbi Kahn, I didn't understand it then, and I still don't understand it now. I probably will never understand where that hatred comes from. But all I knew was that I wanted to do something about it, and I wanted to speak up, which kind of led me towards where I am today. And I was so fortunate to be Robert Kraft and his team reached out to me. I started wearing a Star of David out openly. On my social media, I would preach some Hebrew words and some Hebrew values every once in a while to just let it be known that I'm Jewish and I'm not afraid to be Jewish openly.
I think your mom shared with me when we were texting maybe about a year ago that you not only decided to wear your Jewish star, but we talked about some people tuck it in, and on the Jumbotron, when you're being called up to bat, there's your punim and your gold Jewish star outside of your jersey.
Yep.
Was that a conscious decision?
Of course, yeah, of course. And like I said, I'm the only Jewish player on my team, and most of my teammates, they wear their crosses out, but you see it all the time, and it's almost like they kind of do a double take. They see a Star of David, and they don't even really know what it is at first. But yeah, so Stanford, obviously, our games are televised, and there's a big Jumbotron, and I would walk up to the plate, I would make a play in the field, and it would pan to me, and then they would see my Star of David, and people take notice of those things. That wasn't my intention. I wasn't hoping someone would acknowledge it. It was just something that I was doing that was like, hey, I'm here and I'm Jewish and I'm going to do this because I want to. But people did take notice, and Robert Kraft and his team being one of those people, that organization, the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism, and then they reached out to me.
I was going to say, so kind of walk us through that
process.
Yeah.
I was on the bus to play Santa Clara in a midweek game, just typical pregame activities, people blasting music in the bus, and I got a text on my phone from a number I didn't recognize, from an individual named Lotan, and he's saying, hey, I'm Lotan, I work with Robert Kraft and his foundation, and we want you to be one of 6 athletes in our, this first inaugural initiative of the Blue Square Athlete Ambassador Program. And I was literally about to get off the bus to play a baseball game. Mm-hmm. I didn't even really think about it. I said, yes, of course, let me know next steps, put my phone down and went to play the game. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, honestly. Mm-hmm. And a couple months later, at the end of the season, his team came out to Stanford, did a film to sit-down interview kind of like this, film me practicing a little bit. A couple months after that, it was posted, and me and the 5 others. And it was just unbelievable. My video in particular kind of got some legs and took off a little bit. I don't know why, but I'm very fortunate that happened. And that is kind of when I realized, like, hey, I can do something with this. And people took notice, and people are listening. And I got to kind of ride this wave and this momentum a little bit. And the amount of messages that I got, positive messages, saying how my son's Stanford baseball fan, or my son's Jewish, and my daughter plays this sport, and they're Jewish, and they were inspired by your story, and now they want to wear a Star of David, or they want to, just wear their Judaism proudly and without fear. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. This is so cool. So that's kind of was like, I don't have a large following. I'm not a social media famous by any means, but I realized that people are listening, and that's kind of how I am here now. And on social media, I try and talk about Jewish values and kind of what Judaism means to me, and how in the face of hate, you shouldn't fear being who you are and being true to who you are, because being Jewish is a blessing and a beautiful thing. And I want kids my age, but more so the younger generation, to know that that's not something that they should be scared of. I think there's a lot of things out in the public eye on social media nowadays that just kids, they're afraid to be Jewish. And that's terrible. They shouldn't be afraid to be Jewish. Being Jewish is amazing. And I thought that, I was telling Rabbi Khan, I think I'm a cool guy. This is the nicest I've looked in a while. I'm normally wearing athletic clothes or baseball uniform.
Your mother would not have allowed
yeah. And if they see someone like me who's excelling in the classroom, going to a good school, and playing baseball at a high level, hoping to sign and play professionally next year, that they can do that too. And that's not something that they should kind of shy away from. Be Jewish.
Tell me a little bit, or you already told me, tell everyone, because you made a conscious decision, and what we talked about was something got sparked inside of you. Well, the light was already there, but something got sparked where you said, I'm going to take this on as a responsibility. Being Jewish, being an athlete, going to Stanford, potentially going into the draft. And you could probably set up an Instagram account, do endorsements, people call you, they're going to pay you to put stuff up. But you decided to do something else with your Instagram account, which is to, in a sense, pay it forward to a younger generation. Can you tell everyone here about what you've been actively doing, not only in Instagram, but kind of how that's lined into the message and how you decided to take this responsibility on as opposed to let someone else do it?
Yeah.
Because there are other Jewish athletes who could have done it.
I was fortunate to be selected for this. I was telling Rabbi Khan, I still to this day don't. The first meeting I ever had with Robert Kraft and his team, they knew everything about me. They just knew everything about me, and I had never spoken to these people in my life. I'm like, how on earth do they know it? That's kind of. I was like, what? But so they chose me, and I'm fortunate that they selected me and gave me this platform. And no, I don't have to do it, but I want to, because, like I said, it didn't sit well with me. The amount of hate that I saw in my immediate community around Stanford, it was unacceptable, and I didn't want it to be an us versus them thing or a me versus you. That's not my intention. It was just showcasing the excellence that's already there within our community, and I think it's like a don't tell them, show them type of thing. And there's so much excellence, and that's all we do is we succeed and we prosper.
But you also said something to me about how you didn't want to wake up one day years from now. Can you? And
So I'm
not have done anything.
Yeah, right. We have one life, right? And I told Rabbi Khan, I don't want to wake up way down the line when I'm an old guy and look back and regret not have done something, right? I have a platform and I have a voice and people are listening, and I didn't know that, but they are. And I need to do something with that, and it's not hard to do. It's just a little scary at first. But I am not scared. I'm not. And I'm just going to live my life. And like Rabbi Khan said, I don't want to look back one day and wish that I had done something when I have the opportunity and I have the platform and the voice to do something.
Tell us about the videos with the kids.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it, but after my video.
And we'll make sure that everyone gets his Instagram handle.
Yeah.
Account number, name.
It's just my name, but yeah.
So you can see some of these amazing videos that he's been working on.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it, but after the initial video was posted, I got so many messages from parents of Jewish kids, from the kids themselves sometimes, and the parents just saying how they were inspired by my video, and I was like, I want to highlight these kids like I was highlighted, and make them feel like they're a big leaguer, or they're a professional basketball player, or they're a professional football player like I feel all the time. I step onto the field for a game at school, and I'm like, this is the big leagues. You got all the people in the stands, and this is like what you dream of when you're a little kid. And if I can make them feel like that, and maybe ignite that fire in them that was ignited in me, that's kind of always been there, but was, poured some gasoline on it. It makes me feel good. So I started doing that. I'm lucky that I have a little bit of like video editing background in high school. I did some like freelance video editing stuff. So I started to, all on my own, I started to call these kids or their parents with the kids and just interview them, just kind of like how I was interviewed. ask them about their sport, ask them about Judaism, what Judaism means to them, why they like being Jewish so much. And you get kind of an array of answers for some kids. It's
About what ages are they?
I think the youngest, probably like 8, they're like middle school age, like late elementary to middle school age, probably 8 to bar mitzvah age, 12 or 13. And I would interview them. I would write a script. I would film, edit, and put it out for my followers to see. And the response has been amazing, and I almost can't even, I need like a team now because I can't even keep up with the demand. You know, I'm a one-man show here. And it's been great. And then recently I started, actually on January 1st, on the first day of the new year, I started another series where I'm highlighting Jewish values and talking about a notable person in Jewish history, Jonas Salk, Albert Einstein, Sandy Koufax, and talking about different Jewish values, Gevurah, Tikkun Olam, Tzedek, Chesed, and just showing, and like I said, not trying to convince anybody, but just showcasing the excellence that's in our Jewish community. We know it's there, but my teammates don't know it's there. And it's not, not for my teammates, but it's for everybody. You know, with social media nowadays, it only takes one post. I'm still trying to figure out the algorithm and how to get views, but it takes one post for this, and you don't know who's going to see it. So, and it's been amazing, and I love doing it. You know, it's time-consuming, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make because it's important to me.
So in addition to, and the season's going to start soon, in addition to baseball, being a senior at Stanford, being a guy who's got friends and social life, you chose then as part of your responsibility and your reaction, not just to October 7th, but everything that's come after it, to fight anti-Semitism and Jew hatred by showing kids that Jewish power and showing themselves off a little self-promotion for them is something to be embraced.
Yeah, it's cool for them, you know?
Like, how have they reacted to it since they've been made famous by you?
Hardly, but, you know, they're appreciative. And I don't know if they fully understand what it is they're doing, but they're doing so much more than they realize. Just being 10 years old, 11 years old, and speaking up and not fearing, you know, talking about their Judaism and what it means to them. And a lot of these kids are wearing their Judaism proudly, and they're the only Jewish kid on their soccer team or their football team or their basketball team. They don't even realize what it is that they're doing, but they're doing it what I was doing. And I didn't realize it at that age either. And I just told them, never stop being you. Never stop being you. And don't try and be somebody else. Because as they grow up and as they get phones and what it is, they're going to see things online, and people are going to try and have them deviate from who they are and scare them, honestly, into being somebody else, because people are going to say that they're not good enough, or they're just going to villainize them and demonize them. And I'm just like, never change, never change. I end every single script that I read about these kids with the words "never change." And I'm speaking to the kids, and I'm speaking to every Jewish kid and every Jewish person, because they shouldn't change. Because who they are is a beautiful person and a great young person, great young kid, and they're Jewish, and they should never change.
I think you've just put your finger on what I call the superpower of the Jewish people, which is, for the better part of, we're about 4,000 years old, but for the better part of 2,500, 3,000 years, people have been trying to kill us, and not just kill us, but remove us from the equation altogether. There are 1.5 billion Muslims. There are 1 billion Catholics. There are 15 million Jews. And you're right, a lot of, not just kids, adults, after October 7th, retreated. And it's understandable. People got very scared. And then they started seeing what was happening on college campuses, at Stanford, at UCLA, Columbia, and they retreated. Some people took their mezuzahs down from outside. And again, I don't sit here in judgment. I get it. People get scared and they do things to protect themselves. But you made this decision to throw your heart and your mind into making a difference. I'm wondering, Ethan, where do you think that came from? I mean, you've got wonderful role models at home. You were raised in a wonderful community, but inside of you, where did that come from? And we're running out of time, so I just wanted to wrap up with this. What are those next steps for you?
Yeah, I mean,
whether it's as part of the Blue Scar athlete program
Yeah.
or these videos, or like what I know it's you're just at the beginning of this.
yeah, it's honestly.
But you decided not to retreat.
No, it's a new thing, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to keep going, and I think the sky is the limit beyond that. But I'm doing it not for the likes and the clicks and the views, but because I feel like I need to and I have to, and these kids need somebody to look up to. I have that person, and his name's Eric Broadquist. He probably doesn't even know that he was that person for me, but he was, and you know, I guess there's just something inside of me that just I want to make something of my time on this earth, and make a change and positive change and do good and be kind and just be a good person. And I told Rabbi Kahn, you know, every day I wake up and I'm just trying to be a better version of myself today than I was yesterday. And I think if we all adopt that mentality, we'll all be so much better off for it. You know, and a lot of people out there, their main focus is not to make themselves better, but to put other people down. And that's exhausting, I can imagine, and just pointless. So I feel like if we can all kind of do a better job or not do a better job as a Jewish community, we do this already, and it's just engraved in who we are. But that's why I want to remind these kids that they do it subconsciously, but never lose that and never change, right? But yeah, just being the best version of yourself that you can be. And that's all you can do. Not every day is it ebb and flows, that's life. And I'd make, you know, the comparison to baseball is like, baseball is a hard game, and sometimes you're gonna be riding the high, and sometimes you're really gonna be riding the low. But if you can just kind of stay here in the middle, that's all you can do. Show up to the field every single day, put your best foot forward, give it your all. Whatever happens after that happens. And that's a good kind of analogy for life. You know, not every day is gonna go your way, and school's hard, a test isn't gonna go your way. Might get kicked on, you know, on the butt in the baseball field and whatever it is. But all you can do is just keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. And that's it. I mean, and that's what I'm trying to preach to these kids. And yeah.
I just want to wrap up by saying this. We did spend a lot of time together this week. There's so much more. I wish we could have questions, but I'm sure you guys will hang out a little bit afterwards, and you can answer some questions from some people who are here tonight, your congregational family. And I told Ethan, you know, this isn't the first time or the only time. Tracy and I have been texting a lot over the last year. She's a Jewish mom, so she worries a little bit about, I mean, you are, you know, a persona. You are in the public. You're thinking about Major League Baseball. You're thinking about, or you're not thinking about, you're actively pursuing going into the draft and maybe playing, you know, for many years to come, we hope. But I want to make an observation from the time that we spent. I really think, Ethan, that you chose to remove this stumbling block that a lot of people place in front of them, in front of themselves. You told me that you decided to be self-educated on Israel, on Zionism, on Judaism, beyond. Because what happens was when we sort of go into that lull at the age of 13, we miss out on learning more. And a lot of people just sort of stay 13 until they're married, and then they come to the office and they want to have a wedding, and they're like, I don't know anything. You made a decision to learn Hebrew. You have a Hebrew tutor in Israel that you speak to once a week. 3 times a week, excuse me. He's not an underachiever, of course, which you learned at the Channon preschool. But you chose to remove the stumbling block, and actually a lot of Jews do fear that they're going to be ignorant. They don't know enough, and they don't quite know where to go, and so that's another stumbling block for them is, you know, Jews like to be expert in whatever it is that they're talking about. When they don't know something, they shut down, but you decided not to do that. So you're learning Hebrew, you're learning about Zionism, you're taking a class starting next week. What's the class again?
It's a conflicts in the Middle East class, and the professor is Israeli.
Yeah. So you're like leaning into it. And what I love is that you're activating every day with all these decisions what I call Jewish power, which is what Zionism is about, Jewish power and this idea of the new Jew, that we don't cower, we don't hide, but we put ourselves out there. And for all these reasons and many, many more, I can't wait to continue to see what comes from you as a student at Stanford, as a Division I athlete, as a baseball player, but really, most importantly, as a brother to your sister and brother and a son to your parents, and as a part of this community and this congregation. And I want you to know, Ethan, was really blown away by our conversations. You don't think like a 21-year-old senior athlete at a D1 school. You think where you have blinders on and you're just focused on your craft. You are focused on, and you have already figured out what is important. And even if it gets in your way, and even if there are people who won't draft you because you've been so out there with your Judaism, you've made it very clear that this is part of your mission in life. This is part of who you are. And it's more than just proud of you. I really think what you're doing with these kids and what you'll continue to do, and we're all here to support you. One of the reasons why I wanted you to come tonight is there are people in this room who are here ready, willing, and able to help you and support you in your efforts. Because you don't just leave this community when you go to college. You're here, you're with us forever. You're stuck with us. And there are some people in this room, I know, and people in this congregation, and people online, and people who are going to watch when you post this, who will want to, like Robert Kraft, who will want to help you lean in. And you're a really special, special guy. And I want to say Yesher Koach to you, continued strength, and tell us your Instagram account.
Yeah, no, it's just my name, Ethan Hott.
And then it's got a little Hebrew name attached to it, yes?
In the bio, I put the word koach. It changes. It was chai for a while. It's koach
Like
now.
word of the week?
It's maybe not quite. It doesn't change that frequently, but it's whatever. Honestly, it's kind of whatever I'm feeling. And I was feeling some koach, so I put it in there.
Koach means strength.
Yeah.
And so when we say Yesher Koach, it means continued strength to you. And may you continue to go from strength to strength. I know everyone wants to spend some more time with you, and we will. This, again, won't be the only time. And now that you're in a different division, we're probably going to see you a little bit more on ESPN, yes?
Yeah, so we're in I don't know how many college baseball fans, but we're in the ACC, so a lot of East Coast travel. I think we're making 5 trips this year, and then plus the ACC tournament. So we're flying to North Carolina and South Carolina and Florida, and
you guys are going to a lot of places this
year.
It's a lot. So when we see you on ESPN this year with your Jewish star, as they're calling you to the plate, we're all going to be with you, and we're all going to be watching you. And again, we're here. We can't wait to see what these next steps, and again, I'm very proud of you for everything that you've done, but more for what it is that you're going to accomplish and the example that you're setting for other young Jewish men and women, whether they're athletes or not. Mazel tov and continued success.
Thank you, guys.
All right, well, make sure, if you can hang out for a little bit after services, we're going to conclude because I know everyone's getting hungry, and I got the look. Not from me talking, like from you, they could have listened forever. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, well, we look forward to continued success, and it's remarkable how both Joey Varco last month, talking about his service to our country in the Army, and Ethan, these happened without any planning. Both kids were home from college, and they showed up, and Rabbi Mason Barkin and I are always looking for someone to speak so that we don't have to speak, but I hope we're all feeling a lot of kvel for what it is that the little tiny part that Congregation Beth Israel plays in developing and teaching and raising such amazing Jews. And since your brother and sister are still here, we do have someone here to talk, if you want, after services about a T-Day-Z, which is our young adults program, which is brand spanking new. It's like all the kids you went to religious school with, but now they're older. And so anyway, we're excited to see you guys and to be with you guys and to celebrate and share more happy moments such as this evening. All right, we're going to conclude now, with Aleinu and Kaddish. Thank you all for indulging us with a little extra time tonight, but I think it was well worth the effort. Aleinu can be found in your Sidurim on 586. Together, please stand. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו קוראי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש Baruch Hu. On this Shabbat, as we draw to the end of our service, we take a moment to think of those members of our congregational family who were recently laid to their eternal rest, who have families who are observing Shiva and Shloshim, the immediate 7 and 30 days of mourning. On the Shabbat, we are thinking of Lori Schwartz, Ross Burns, and Kathy Arnheim. And we also remember those of our congregational family whose yard sites occur this week, the anniversary of their deaths. Leonard Amder, Helen Aronowitz, Ben Atkins, John Aubie, Rose Balaban, Esther Becker, Richard Borg, Ralph Bird, Edith Clayman, Lena Cohen, Frank Cohen, Theodore Cohen, Jeanette Davidson, May Ellis, Gertrude Ehrlich, Lena Finkelman, Bessie Glantz, David Glazer, Edith Goldberger, Ben Goldstein, Joseph Green, Herman Greenberg, Paul Hochberg, Abe Jacobs, Barbara Kahn, Sylvia Cates, Morris Katz, Irving Katz, Harry Kipnis, Molly Kovnat, Morris Crane, Jacob Lehner, Rhonda Leopold and Allison Leopold, Myron Levy, Helen Levy Steinfeld, Harry Lewis, David Lipschultz, Herbert Maurer, Dorothy Megeff, Emily Morris, Sylvia Nash, Joseph Opsfeld, Barbara Ochner, Arnold Portugal, Lillian Reznikoff, Eugene Rose, Julie Rosenblum, Sally Rosenblum, Rose Rosenwine, Deborah Rubinow, Samuel Sachs, Florence Samet, Richard Sampson, Isabel Savitz, Sandra Salvin, Keith Schlanger, Norman Schwartz, Lawrence Smith, Dora Taxman, Molly Turkin, Elizabeth Vigor, Moses Waldinger, Raymond Witkoff, and also we are sending our thoughts to the family of Tamara Simmons, who also was laid to her rest earlier today. If anyone would like to add the name of a loved one, or if I inadvertently mispronounced a name and you'd like to repeat it, or online type in the name of a loved one, please do so at this time. Every Shabbat, we recall with love and affection the 6 million who perished in the Shoah, the 1.5 million children who have no one to say Kaddish for them, and the soldiers and civilians of the state of Israel who have given their lives to protect our Jewish homeland. May all of their souls be bound up in the bonds of eternal life. For those who are observing Yahrzeit or mourning, if you'd like, please join together, Mourners Kaddish 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayed chol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach le'alam u'le'amei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to those who are grieving, as together we say amen. 2 quick announcements. Starting this Tuesday, This coming Tuesday, January 6th, and then following on the 13th and the 20th, we have our first of our series of rabbinic scholars. Our first scholar is going to be the one and only Rabbi Simcha Bab, who will be teaching a class entitled Jonah and the Meaning of Our Lives, which is a book that he also wrote. Again, 7 o'clock on Tuesday, you're going to get an email blast this weekend reminding you, and then the other classes as well. You'll also be receiving next week a survey getting information from you of what you would like to do when we take our next congregational trip to Israel, which God willing will be in December of this year, this new year, 2026, in a little under a year from now. But a survey will be coming out for you to fill 8 questions. Tell us what you're interested in, just so we can make sure to get everyone involved. All right, let's conclude with Alina, we already did that. Ose Shalom, Ose Shalom, Bimromavu Yase Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Amen. Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. Hold on. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. You're going to have to tear challah if you want it. I'll put it over here on the piano.